Civivi has become one of the most prolific, budget-oriented knife brands on the planet, and it's not hard to see why. For years, they have consistently delivered knife after knife at a reasonable price point while maintaining excellent fit and finish, and overall quality. And those of you that have lived in that sub-$75 price range for a long while are honestly spoiled for choice these days, but it wasn't always like that. Not so long ago, the $30 to $50 price range was chock full of what we in the knife world refer to as mall ninja shit, or gas station knives. Cheap, chintzy Chinese toys that would maybe cut something once, if you were lucky. For me, spending as much of my childhood in and around flea markets as I have can attest to this. I have a box of shame overflowing with the regrettable cutlery purchases of my youth. But made in China is no longer a dirty word, and the stigma is fading more and more each day. And that is in big part thanks to the work of brands pushing the envelope for budget blades. Bestech, Kaiser, CRKT all stepped their games up, and from where I'm sitting, that upped quality all goes back to we and Civivi. I, of course, own a couple of Civivis. Great looks and great quality at a great price is hard to pass up when you're just getting started in this big bad knife life. The Exarch and the McKenna, both really good knives in their own right, but neither of them come anywhere close to this. The Civivi Riffle. No, not rifle, Riffle. No, not Ruffles, Riffle. This full-size liner lock is a new release for Civivi here in 2021, and I received this one via the Apex Pass Round group, which means it came straight from Civivi. But none of that changes the love affair that has blossomed between me and this budget baller. This variant is rocking these beautifully done olive-colored micarta scales over stonewashed stainless steel liners, but this being a Civivi, you are not starved of options or colorways. You can also get the brown or tan micarta scales, or if you've got a few extra bucks to blow, you can get the Damascus blade variants with carbon fiber scales or the really nice looking wood scales. And honestly, every single one of the options look excellent to my eyes. We've got the usual dynamite stainless steel deep carry pocket clip, and it's secured with flathead countersunk screws, top marks on the clip. The looks on this piece really spoke to me, especially in the blade shape department. I really dig the way that 3.5 inch long drop point blade looks. And the stonewash on this, it's so fine, it almost looks like sandblasted or bead blasted. Very clean and classy, with just the right amount of aggressiveness and flair, and that is coming from me, a Wharncliffe whore. The handle is shaped nicely as well, and wouldn't look out of place on a fixed blade or a big chopper if I'm being honest. We've got these kind of hooked areas on both ends to help lock the hand in place, and everything has been chamfered and knocked down extremely well. And we've got very minimal hardware, so no distractions from those sweeping and sensual lines. A great looking knife, for sure. Now then, back to that blade. Unlike most Civivis of yesteryear, this is not D2. No, this is 14C28N. And from my experience with the steel, along with the little bit of research that I've done, it is definitely an upgrade. Much easier to sharpen and maintain, holds an edge for a good long while, and the big kicker, it's stainless. And it's a pretty darn good stainless as far as rust resistance goes. And this being a Civivi, yes, this thing was ground to slice. We've got a nice tall hollow grind on this drop point blade, and although the blade stock isn't the thickest in the universe, it comes out to a decently sturdy tip. And boy oh boy, I have loved opening the mail with this thing. It absolutely melts through paper and packages, and is happily eaten through many a cardboard box the past week or so. And it has looked damn good doing it. The ergos here, well, I'm loving having this thing in the hand. This being a full-size slicer, we've got tons of room on the handle to choke back or choke up, and like I mentioned before, those swooped areas kind of keep your hand from slipping off in either direction. We've got a nice amount of natural grippiness from the texturing on the micarta scales, and the jimping on the liner lock and on the blade spine is done really well. Nice and grippy, yet soft and forgiving when you really bear down. And you don't even notice the pocket clip in hand. Great ergos, but if there's one thing, I really wish we had some kind of finger choil on a knife this size so you could choke up just that little bit more on this 8-inch knife. It's not a deal breaker, just my only real gripe as far as the ergos go. And the action is what really knocked my socks off when this knife arrived. Like I said, I had Civivis, and I've never been let down by the action. But this thing is on another level. It's running on cage bearings, and you have the nicely jimped flipper tab, and the flipping action is excellent. Nice and snappy, not the strongest detent in the world, but it's been dialed back for a good reason. Those big cutouts on the blade aren't just for looks. Thumb flicks and spidey flicks are a breeze with the Riffle, and endlessly addicting and just as snappy as one could want. So already, the fidget freak in me is pumped on having 3 modes of actuation. 3 is almost always better than 1, right? So at this point, my socks have exploded off my feet and flown across the room. And then I go to close it, and the rest of my outfit, along with my face, melt clean off. Never have I experienced such exceptional drop shuttiness on a Civivi. They're always good on the close, but this is great. Push the liner lock aside, and that blade is coming down. And the bearings are smoother and more consistent than any other Civivis I've ever handled. Nice and quiet, no excess grit, no excess noise. This thing is absolutely top tier, god level fidget friendly. The most fidget friendly Civivi I think I've ever come across. So at 55 or 56 bucks retail for the micarta scaled options, or 89 to 90 bucks retail for the fancy pants Damascus versions, where does all this leave us with the Riffle here? Well, I got this knife for free, but I have to send it along to the next person in line. And honestly, I really don't want to. You hear that pass around, boys? I don't want to. Fidget factor aside, this is an amazing budget knife. The upgraded steel and scale materials are worth the price alone. But you kick that action into the mix, and I am screaming Riffle from the motherfucking rooftops. It looks great. It is an absolute slicing machine, and I have been fidgeting with it so much the past week or so that my thumbs hurt. And it's not because the jimping is too rough, it's because I can't put this knife down. It's so good. It's like, if you're in the market for that next knife that is going to look good, carry extremely well, and cut everything in sight without batting an eye, and it also happens to be a fidget god, this is it. It's really that good. I really didn't know what to expect when this knife showed up, other than I liked the way it looked, but boy howdy, I honestly, I like almost everything about it. So until next time, thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.